Okay, guys, so today we are going to be focusing on JavaScript variables and JavaScript data type. You understand? So, in the last class, we've introduced what JavaScript is, what you can use JavaScript for, and some popular JavaScript framework and what they are being used for. And we also took a step further to write our first JavaScript code where we were able to generate random numbers by clicking some buttons and then clear out or create another button and clear out those random numbers. We actually touched on the DOM on the last previous class, but I know some of you won't understand a lot of things that is going on. Some of you will be like, hey, what's going on here? We don't understand documents, we don't understand const, we don't understand dot remove, we don't understand what you're doing. So right now, this is the first JavaScript class where you are going to learn everything from the very basic. So what is JavaScript variables? Very simple. So if I have a function or I have any value in JavaScript, I can't just take those values and just declare it like that. I have to assign it to something or assign it to a name. That's how JavaScript works and almost every other programming language. So I have to actually assign a particular function or a particular value to a particular name, else it is not a JavaScript value. For instance, if you are creating an online shop, you are going to have different data. You're going to have data of your online store, your inventory. You're going to have data of your customers, which are your users. You're also going to have data of your, maybe the items on the shopping cart. So all those things need to be stored to something. You can't just say, oh, I have 500 inventory asset. No, it doesn't work that way. It has to be assigned to something. Now we are going to be writing some JavaScript in this section now, but I want to let you know something about the browser console. So if I should come over to this place, I'm actually on my Opera Mini right now. If I should come here and click on expense element, now I'm going to see the element here is giving me some HTML code, and we have console, we have source. This one is going to give you the code that you use to, so no resource you are given. So we are going to be working with the browser console. Now I want to let you know something. JavaScript, as explained before, is a programming language that runs on the browser. So now the browser console or any browser console, not just Opera Mini, but Google Chrome, Safari, Firefox, and even Microsoft Edge, they all have this thing called the browser console, and this browser console has the ability to compile JavaScript. Now we are going to be using the browser console to write our JavaScript or to learn JavaScript for today, and I feel like it's more better rather than starting with the VS Code, because many of us are not even ready for the coding environment yet. So I will advise you to install Firefox on your desktop, on your computer or your machine, because Firefox is going to be the browser that we are going to be using for today's course. So first of all, right here I'm actually on google.com, and if I should do the same thing, right click and I click on inspect, I see the same values. All I have to do is to come to my console here and you see some data. Let me just clear all this to clear this. Now, like I said, you have to store a value to a name in JavaScript. You have to store a value to a name in JavaScript. For instance, let me just increase this so you can. So for instance, if I should say something like const my number is equals to 40. Now, in order, I've assigned 40, which is the value, to the name, which is the my number. So if I should type my number, it's going to print to the console as 40. Are you getting it? So this is just a brief example of assigning a name to a name value, a value to a name value. Are you understanding? So I can also say const const welcome message is equals to, this time around I'm going to open a string hello world. So if I should say what is the value of welcome message, it's going to tell you hello world. Are you getting it now? So the browser is the console is trying to tell you, oh, we have a value for this, and the value for this name is what we are printing below here. Though you are having undefined here, which doesn't mean anything because we are still working on JavaScript on this browser console here. So there are other things again. If I should say let my new number, or let me say new number be equals to 60. Sorry, it's not supposed to be capital letter of let, it's supposed to be small letter. Let new number be equals to 60. If I also say new number, I'm seeing the value printed here at 60. So basically we only have 3 ways to assign a value to a name, which is const. You've seen that already here, and we have let, and the last one we have var. And say var new, or let me say welcome msg. Should we say hello, I love to write JavaScript. So if I should say what is the welcome message, the welcome message is hello, I love to write JavaScript. But there is a difference between the const, the let, and the var. The var is not really used anymore, but you can still use it. It still works in all JavaScript and in all JavaScript compiler, regardless the browser console or you are using the VS Code or any coding environment that your device to work in, and a lot of people still use it. But I feel like the most relevant is the const and the let. Now let me let you know something. The const actually means, like, it actually means constant. That's what the const means. It actually means constant. So if I should say const my name is equals to, now I'm going to put it in a string value, digit. Okay, so if I now say const, if I now say I don't want my name to be digit anymore, and I say my name to be equals to Joseph, which is actually my real name, I'm going to have, it's going to throw me an error. What is it saying? It's saying, how can you are redeclaring the const value of my name? In other words, it's saying to tell you, hey, Mr. Man, you've told us that my name is GGT, and now you are trying to change it. And that's because I use the const value. It means constant. So you use constant to assign a value that you know you are not ready to change, while you use let to a value that you know that you will change later in the future. So for instance, if I should say const new name, no, sorry, let me use the let this time around. Let new name be equals to, let me say Joseph, and I say let, or I say let, or let new name be equals to GGT. Sorry, the declaration of new name. sorry. So if I say new name is now equals to DGT. So new name now is now, new name is DGT, but I have, no, there is a mistake somewhere. So if I should new name, I want it to be equals to DGT. Let me see. Now it did not throw me any error. So what's the value of new name? New name is now DGT. Remember, we say new name year to be Joseph. This is invalid JavaScript. Let new name to be Joseph. Now new name should now be Digity. New name is now Digity. If I should say new name is now equals to let me say Daniel. So if I should say what is the value of new name, is printing Daniel. So the reason why it can change and change like that is because I didn't use the const value. If I've used the const value, it's definitely cannot change like that. So you use const, you use const to assign a value to a name that you know it's not going to change. You used let to assign a name on value that you know that is going to change. Now some of you will be like, what do I actually need this for? I don't actually need this. Let me clear this out. So some of you will be like, I don't need this value. For instance, if I should say count, let count be equals to 0. Now what's the value of count? Count is equals to 0. If I should say count is now equals to count plus 1. So count now is equals to 1. Or since let me refresh this page. If I say let me clear all this. If I should say let count be equals to 0, I can just say count plus plus count 1, count should be okay, still 1. So count plus plus means count plus 1. Are you getting it? So this is actually useful if you have, for instance, you want to create a value of, let us say you want to make a calculator. Initially your result is going to be 0 until you add some logic to it. So you declare the 0 initially to be 0, and then when you add some logic to it, the value keeps changing and it keeps changing. So you use let to assign a value that you know is going to change in the future, and you use const to assign a value that you know we don't change in the future. So common thing you need to know about assigning. For instance, let me just clear this. So common things you need to know when you're assigning a value, there has to be any of these. Either you use const or let first, then make sure there is a space. Make sure there is a space, just a space. Then you give it the name you want to give it. Let me say web dev class. Okay, then you have to put another space, and then you put an equals to, and then you write whatever value you want to put there. And if then you can say something like this is the 2025 web development class. Are you getting it now? I have web dev class. This is the 2025 web development class. Now you don't do stuff like this. Web space dev class is equals to, this is the 2025 web dev course. This is going to throw you an error. Like, what are you trying to do? There has to be no space in between between your words. So if I have to say, I have to say const welcome message. I can't say const welcome message. This is wrong. Const welcome message, and then you put it whatever value you want to put here. Are you getting it? So another thing you need to know again is when you're writing your const, you can't say 2025 web dev. This is wrong. You can't write a number in front of your assigner. You can't write a number. It's very, very wrong. If I say it's equals to welcome to our web dev class, it's going to give you an error. You can't write a number in front. Whether it is one number or two number, you can start with a number. But you can say const web dev 2025. This is valid JavaScript. This const is wrong. NST. This is valid JavaScript. If I say welcome to our web dev class, this is valid JavaScript. This is not valid JavaScript. You can't write a number in front of the name tag you are giving. The name you are giving, not the name tag. This is not HTML. The name you are giving it, or the name value you are giving it. So the same thing apply for let. If I say let to message is equals to we are learning to program. So it's going to give you an error again. You can start a number after you assign on. I hope you are getting this. So the next thing I want to also know is you can do something like this. Const let's say const web dev class is equals to class made by DGT. This is also wrong. You can't put an quotation in front of your name class. So this is the valid way. There have to be an assigner. The name tag, make sure there is a space. If not, it's going to yell at you. Make sure there is a space. You put your equals to sign. Make sure there is a space, and then you put your you put your value. So now you've already understand what JavaScript variable is. The next thing we are going to be focusing on is the JavaScript data type. JavaScript data type. Now you need to understand something. Let me clear this. So there's what we call data type in programming generally. What type of data are you dealing with? So if I should say const number, this is going to be a number. So const number is equals to number. Const string is equals to my new string. If I should say const boolean is equals to true. If I should say const object, let me leave it that way, and we are going to have something like prop1 is equals to value of first property, and I can put a comma after here and say prop2 is equals to value of second property. Or let me just say I want to make this prop2 this time around to be equals to 2. To be 2, yes. Okay. Now a lot of you are going to be having a lot of questions. So there are only four type of data types in JavaScript. The first one is number. The second one is a string. The third one is a boolean. And the third one is an object. Now, what is a number? Definitely you know what a number is. A number is anything that is a number. And then we have a string. This is a number. Yeah. This is a string, meaning it is like a test. Are you getting it now? A boolean is something where you have true or false. While an object is when you have different property in this curly braces here. So if I should say, let me come down here. Now, and by the way, the reason why you are not seeing any error here is because I put this this thing here. This is how to comment in your JavaScript code. When you put anything here, this // here forward slash here, anything goes. This is just a comment. It doesn't add anything to your code. Are you getting it? So this is just a comment. It doesn't do anything to your code. And most times you use comments to understand what you are doing. Maybe you are writing some function and you just comment it out. Or comment at the top or at the bottom to understand what you are doing. So this is a comment, and it doesn't, anything you write here doesn't matter. It's a comment. You are just commenting. You are not writing a script, so you are not writing any code at all. So now if I should come back, if I should say there is a JavaScript function known as type of, as you can see, type of. I should say, what is the type of this number we declared here? It's going to give you a type of number because it's C number. If I should say, what is the type of this string that we declared here, is giving me a type of string. If I should say, what is the type of the boolean, is giving me a boolean. If I should say, what is the type of the object that we declared here, so it's giving me an object. I hope this makes sense. This is some basic understanding you need to understand in JavaScript, the type of your data. So if you have something like this, for instance, I know the boolean is confusing to you, right? So boolean is anything that return true or false. We are not going to JavaScript operators yet. But for now, let me say, if I say 2 is greater than, if I should say 5 is greater than 2, I have a true here because 5 is actually greater than true. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. If I say 5 is greater than 2, it is going to reprint true to me. 5 is greater than true. I can now save this and say const is true. This, your name can be anything, I hope you know. And I'll say 5 is actually greater than 2. And I'll say is true, is printing true for me because we know 5 is greater than true. If I say, what is the type of, if I say, what is the type of is true? Boolean. Are you understanding it now? So anything that returns either true or false is Boolean. I don't know if you're following. So if you say 3 plus 5, which is 8, is less than 2 minus 4, which is giving me 4. It's first 2 minus 4. 3 plus 5 is 8. 2 minus 4 is going to be minus 2. So definitely we know 8 is greater than minus 2, but I did a less than here. So 8 is less than minus 2 is actually a false value. If I should now say const new bool is equals to this. Remember, this value is written false to us. Oh, sorry, I actually made a mistake there. So I can't just say, I can't do it like that, but you can say const new bool is equals to 8 is less than 2. So we know that 8 is not actually less than 2. 8 is greater than 2, so it's going to give me a false. So if I say new bool is giving me false, type of new bool is giving me, type of new bool is giving me boolean. I just hope you understand what is going on here. So you need to understand something. When you are writing a string, when you are writing a text value, make sure it starts with quotations. Let me clear this. I think this is getting too much. Let me just clear this. I hope you are just coding along as you are watching this, so you have a clear understanding of what you are doing. So for instance, if I say const my string This is equals to, this is a string. Now the name doesn't matter. I can call this anything. I can call it web dev class. I can call it whatever I like. But the fact that I have started my function with open and quote close quotation, this is now a string value in JavaScript. Are you understanding? So if I say web dev, this is a string. Type of this, the web dev, is actually a string. Are you following me? So next thing I want you to know again is that if I should say const number, or let me say const new value is equals to 2025. Now this is not a number anymore. Why? Because I've started the numbers with some quotation, so definitely this is not the number anymore. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So if I should say type of new value, it's still giving me a string. So when you want to write a number, you don't put any quotation in the front. And concerning the one of object, an object is so let me create the object for you. I say const new object is equals to, I'm going to open and close curly braces, and then I'm going to say name Joseph, and age, let me say I'm actually 15 years today, and my Joseph should not be like this. This is wrong. This is invalid JavaScript. Joseph, and height, let me say some 4.5 in height, and let me just leave it. So this is this is how you write an object, and an object is even more and more confusing than this, but this is a simple object for you to understand. So if I should say new object dot name is giving me Joseph, dot age is giving me 15, and then the dot height is giving me 4.5. I hope you are understanding this. I hope you understand what a string is, what a number is, a boolean is, and also what an object is. So the next thing I want to explain to you is something called an array. Yeah, an array. You can see there is even an array function here. So an array is like a list. An array is a list of, or is basically a list. So if I have like many users, and each of my users has different data, so I have an array of users, and I have an array of of their information. So array is how we store lists of different things in JavaScript. For instance, if I say const array is equals to this is how you declare an array. Please note that this is curly braces, not this. They are not the same thing here. So if I should say 10, or let me say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now notice after each data I put a comma. After each data there has to be a comma. So this is a valid, const, not that one. Array is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is a valid array here, and this is how you write an array basically. An array can also not only be numbers. An array can also be something like this. Let me say 10. Then this time around I'll have a string. This time around I have a boolean, and this time around I can even have an object, and I can say user Yeah, I can even have an object here. I can have an object of let's say name, and let me say name is equals to digit. So yeah, this is a valid JavaScript. I'm correct. So the thing you need to understand about an array, and this is like one of the most confusing thing you need to know. So I'm going to explain something about an array using this first array. Now this array has something called 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 array here. And if I should say something like array, we are not using the array function yet. But if I should say array dot length is equals to 6, I hope I'm understanding. I hope you're getting me. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the length is usually 6. But when you are counting an array, we don't count from 1. We count from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For instance, if I should say array, and I open this, if I say 3, it's going to print 4 to me because I'm starting from 0. This is going to be, if I say 0, it's going to give me 1. If I say 2, it's going to give me 3. I don't know if I'm actually making sense. If you don't understand, let us use the second array to explain. Now, this is the first data in our array. This is the second data in our array. This is the third. And this is the fourth. So if I say new array, if I should say I want to get this first, second, third, it's going to be, third is going to be 2 because we are starting from 0, 1, 2. So I'm having first. If I should say I want to get the last one, which is 3, it's giving me an object which is name of digit, I didn't even write my digit very well. So if I should put 0, it's going to give me 10. So array start an index of 0. You call it index in JavaScript. It start an index of 0, 1, 2, 3. I get it. So we are going to do array function later, but once you've understand all this, you've understand some basic beginning of JavaScript.